week might look back even more fondly on his time here as manager, but nostalgia on a cold afternoon like this is about as relevant as Bermuda shorts. Well, Saints trounced at Celtic Park last week, bring in Roddy Grant and Danny Griffin from the start, and the one player who I thought stood out a mile in the last game at Tannadice between these two teams, Philip Scott, is in great demand at the South by the English clubs, and not surprisingly at that, and it's going to be very hard for Saints to hold on to him. Well, relatively speaking, Dundee United play much better away from home than they do at home in the league, and are unbeaten in the last 3 games here. But they make 4 changes from the cup game, and again, that's not surprising. Eric Peterson comes into the side alongside Craig Easton and Magnus Goldmark. And back into the fold, hardly the return of the prodigal, but nevertheless a very valuable acquisition, David Hanna, who started his career here, the tune of £200,000, and he's going to be invaluable. Recognize him? Yes, Jim McCluskey, referee for today. Wales and Johnstone have been unbeaten in the last 6 games here, but you wonder what will go through their minds today. After all, they did lose 5 goals, and there, Billy Dodds almost catching Alan Maynard. As I was saying about them, they leaked so very badly at the back last week that regardless of what kind of tactics they have for today, and I'm sure they're always progressive, that will be in the back of their minds, and that may affect the whole outlook in this game. Billy Dodds almost catching them cold. Typical example of the way this little man ferrets his way whenever he can make trouble, and he almost did there. Bit of a stumble there. Boland comes away with it though. Morris Malpas. Kane. Ooh, almost a misjudgment there by Goldmark. Roddy Grant holding back, thinking he might just pick it up. Scott. O'Neill comes to join him. Boland. Grant. I think he would have been better off touching that to the outside rather than inside him. Nicely played down by Matthew. He's going to let fly himself. Excellent mobility and vision by this player that time. They've been making it look very difficult, Dundee United, up to this moment, until he got a little bit of space, and I think it was perfectly right to try it himself rather than lay it off. Nobody challenging for that one, and eventually Kane comes across there, just pops it out of play. Disappointing ending there for Paul Kane. Normally very astute in his use of the ball. Free kick. Well, United have a very loyal band of supporters there. They've been struggling this season, and Grant gets a penalty for that. Yes, he was pushed. I don't think there's any doubt this picture will tell all. Up it goes, very good header forward there by Kernahan, and there was the push. Now there was a collision, there's no doubt about that, but the referee had no option but to point to the spot. I think they may be, some of the St Johnstone players may be saying that he made a meal of it, but look at the push there by Magnus Goldmark. Now the ex-Dundee United player with that tremendous shot. Up he comes. Yes, straight in. I'm sure he has hit even harder penalties in his time, but in exactly 10 minutes, Gary Boland, who started his career at Tannadice, went on to Rangers, wrong foot, Seep Dijkstra, and St Johnstone are 1 up. There we are, Sandy Clark delighted with that. I think he must have realised a lot of people appreciated the way his team played against Celtic last week. De Vos. Just taken there by Kernahan again. So they're getting in very quickly. That central defence, they give it away. That's a free kick. And I must say that he knew exactly what he was doing there, Darren Dodds. Let's watch this. He realised he was going to be beaten by that. Yes. Flipped to the side by Hannah, and then the eventual shot. Well wide though. Tried Johnstone to get a little bit of an angle to the left-hand side of the goalkeeper, but overstruck that. Paul Sturrock, you must be thinking about this cup tie coming up against Queen's Park. Dundee United badly need a cup run. O'Neill, beautiful and easy-looking little turn. Can he lay it off? He goes for it himself. And that's the real excellence of this man, out of virtually nothing and with no support. Very neat footwork. Saw exactly what he could possibly attain by doing this and went for it. That's what I said about the footwork. And he just went a little bit too much to the outside. Good effort. Waved by Morris Malpass. Beautiful play by O'Neill this time. That's too obvious, a ball inside. Kernahan. O'Neill does get the touch. Samar with it. An easy one by DeVos. There was no challenge again there. And I think the referee is going to get the goalkeeper protection from Ronnie Grant for that. Samar hoping that Grant would be somewhere in the vicinity. The ball's got to then Morris Malpass for that rather edgy one, and the goalkeeper gets the benefit of the doubt. There's no offside. Matthew with a great chance. Poland going in on him. And a claim for a penalty there. I wouldn't say it's the most passionate claim I've ever seen from players, but there was a tackle from the back, but he went for the ball. Certainly went for the ball. Good decision. Couple of minutes of stoppage time. And then Simar goes through. Who's in the middle again? Nobody yet. He's had to hold up the play because of that. Ronnie Grant, a little bit slow getting up. And a disappointing end to that by John O'Neill, who nevertheless I think has been superb in his first 45 minutes, and it may well be the bounce of the ball was just a little bit too high. It was indeed, and that's why it ended up amongst the United supporters. Straight down towards Scott. Boland picks it up though, and that should be a throw to United. Malpass looked like a free kick. I would think we've almost had our 2 minutes of stoppage time. Kjell Olofsson here on this right-hand side. Not a swerve in that. It's a useful ball and touched eventually by Darren Dodds away across to that far side that may have come off the United player last. And in any case, there goes the half-time whistle. Well, only that one goal in it from that incident, a very simple one, and the clash in the air. And you can see from there that although there was no particular danger, Ronnie Grant was taken out of it. Clearly a penalty kick, and up came Gary Boland, the ex-United player, and he made a very clean, professional job of it. And a half-time score now, St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0. It's not a bad ball inside, and Alec Matthew would certainly have picked that up and not big Darren Dodds there. Got right across. I think it was maybe just a little bit fortunate he happened to be in that spot. Trying to get some height in that for DeVos. Big Canadian comes up there, and he's excellent in the air, and he has to be because both Kernahan and Darren Dodds are superb there, and he gets up in the right spot. Somehow Unfortunately, we haven't seen too much of Samoa in this half so far. He had some delightful touches in the first, and Morris Malpas, he's relying on his experience there, keeping his eye on the ball, not put off or distracted by the way the player came at him. Played in there by Kane, and John O'Neill followed up. Couldn't get into it though. Billy Dodds is on his own, shielding the ball very well. Lovely little ball inside to Hannah. He played the ball just too far ahead of him. But there was again the possibility, as the United showed in the first half, of them building up a move from midfield that would find gaps in it. As I said, played it a little bit too much in front. Sandy Clark has looked at this opening 10 minutes of this first half without any undue concern, but there's only the one goal in it. They've got to remember United are beginning to take a better grip of this game, and there's Hannah with the ball and just over the bar, and for the second time in 5 minutes he's come through on the end of an attack, this time from that cross ball there. And United's supremacy in the last 10 minutes might have ended up with that great return goal by Hannah. Olofsson and Joe Miller, ex-Aberdeen, ex-Celtic, on, and Matthew comes off. I'm not sure he's all that happy about that. I thought he's had a very useful game. There we are, shaking the head. Thompson has now come on, Stephen Thompson. 15 minutes of the game remaining, still only that one goal in it. It's narrow, and if it weren't for the fact that Dundee United have done hardly anything in the penalty area in this half, you would always feel they were in it with a chance by virtue of the possession that they've had, but that means absolutely nothing of the goalkeeper. Alan Lane's done hardly anything. Lowndes, was he pushed? He gets a corner, whether it was or not. I must say, I like the looks of this lad, Nathan Lowndes. Well balanced as he gets the corner kick out of that. O'Neill gets it in, brilliantly saved. Gary Bowen thought that was in the back of the net. So did I, and so did this crowd here. One of the saves of the season from Sid Dijkstra. Wonderful piece of flexibility by the goalkeeper. You have to think very quickly and also get that large frame of his right across the goal for that excellent touch. United on the break, this could be useful. Nicely played round by Thompson, and that's a decent ball, and Gary Boland is in there again. Look at that, Billy Dodds tries to get into it. The pressure's still on by United. And they get the corner kick, and that's an excellent last 5 minutes we've had in this game, especially that flow and counter flow from that magnificent save by the Dundee United goalkeeper. It's deep. The boss was up for it again. Look at the number of bodies in the box, and Hannah just misses out on it. This must be the shot at goal, and it's up the line. John O'Neill had come back, showing you what an all-round player this little man is, popping up in the right place, both in defence and attack. There's a shot, and there's O'Neill. Nicely played by Millard. He has looked inventive and productive since coming on. This must be Hannah, shot at goal, and he was right to go for it, trying to take that with the outside of his right foot. And that was put in accidentally to him. He tried to put a lot of swerve in it. beautiful little piece of swerving there by Easton. And more, Dundee United controlling this game, especially in midfield. Easton again. Gary Boland playing well defensively. Can only put it back to Malpass this time. And the bigger men up there. Must be a shot at goal. It wasn't all that far away from Peterson. Alan Main tried to be very judicious about it, didn't move after this all that much as that ball came across. Watch Alan Main go here. And you can see him, well, you won't see him at a moment, but when the shot comes in and goes past there, Main hasn't really moved towards it, and when you see it from that angle, I think it was good judgment by the goalkeeper. On a spell pass. Dodge outside the box, looking for a little ball played in. There's Dodge, can he put it inside? And it's off the line again. Great understanding between the veteran Maurice Malpass and Billy Dodge there. Gets to the line, it's always going to be very difficult for him. And hooked away by Gary Boland. Can they hold out? He's seen his team virtually under siege in the last 15 minutes of this game. Boland hardly put a foot wrong and has scored, of course, has scored that only goal of the game. And when his man moves and defenders. Wow, that was very reminiscent of the situation he was in at Kilmarnock earlier in the season. He scored a goal very much like from that curved shot. This time it didn't work. Against Kilmarnock it did. The whistles from the St Johnstone supporters indicate anxiety. That's brilliant play. Tommy Patterson charging after it. Peterson inside Hannah. Peterson again. Can they hold out? Patterson, that's a useful ball on the outside on it. Hooked away again eventually by Philip Scott. And most of their play in the second half of any value has been holding out this Dundee United attack. Well, the goalie has come up and it goes. The final whistle goes. The big goalie could add nothing to it at the end, and there's the man who scored a goal, and there are supporters who must feel, the most objective of them, that Dundee United did deserve something out of this game in the second half for the enormous pressure they put on the defence of St Johnstone, although Alan Main really didn't have to make any marvellous save at all. And I especially credit Dundee United for the way they fought back in the second half. It wasn't to be, though. It's a cruel day for a team that had so much possession. The final score, St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, I was pleased with my own performance. I still think I'm a few games away from full match fitness, but hopefully that'll come in the next few games. But a bit disappointed, obviously, losing the game today, but hopefully we can pick up points in the foreseeable future.
I thought David did very, very well, and he showed the kind of attitude we're wanting from our players. As I said already, honesty is a gift he has. He knows he's not the best player in the world, but he gives you everything he's got, and basically that's what we want to bring to the team. We want 11 of those, and really the players have got to appreciate that it's work rate and attitude first now where we are, and performance second.
But you pleased with another goal?
I'm pleased, aye. The more the better.
You nearly had another in the second half.
I did. I think Big Sheep had a great save from a header for a corner, aye. But that's the way it goes.
A good day for St Johnstone nonetheless.
A great day and a great 3 points, aye.